In this section, we're going to get started creating the spawner script. We're going to start off and create a new script and attach it to the main spawner node. We're then going to go ahead and add all the code we need to spawn in zombies based on the current wave we're at. After that, once the script is complete, we're going to test and make sure everything's working as expected. Now let's go ahead and jump right in. Alright, let's get started creating the spawner script. So let's go ahead, locate the main node, the spawner node, select it, and simply add a new script. Let's go ahead, create that script in the correct folder, script folder, open it up, and hit create. Alright, so we're going to start off with a couple different variables here. First one is actually going to be an enum, which is going to be called wave_state. Make sure capital S, there we go, state. And let's go ahead, pass in the values we want for this enum. First one will be called start, comma. Next will be cleanup, comma. And then the next will be spawning _wave. That's going to be everything we need in our enum here. That'll help us keep track of when we want to start creating new waves and do the cleanup and other things. So let's go ahead, next up, create some constants. The first constant is going to be called base_zombies. This will be the starting amount of zombies in the first wave, which we're going to set equal to 20. Next up, we're going to create another constant. We're going to call this wave_increment. This will be the amount of zombies that are added after every wave, which will be set to 5. Next up, we're going to create another constant. We're going to call this base_spawn_rate. And we're simply going to equal this to 2.0. Next up, we're going to create another constant. We're going to call this spawn_rate_decrease. This will be the amount it goes down every wave, ultimately making it faster spawnings of the zombies, which we'll do to 0.1. Then we're going to need some more variables for calculating the waves. So let's go ahead, do a var. We'll call this current_wave_state. And this will go ahead, equal our wave state, equals, again, wave state dot start. Then we're going to go ahead, create another variable. We're going to call this current_wave. And we'll simply equal this to our global value for .wave. Then we're going to go ahead, create another variable, call this zombies_to_spawn. And we'll go ahead, make this a type int, and equal this to 0 starting off. We're also going to go ahead, create another variable, call this zombies_in_current_wave. And the reason we need this value is because as the waves continue, we don't want to start any of them until the current waves are back to 0. Next up, we're going to create another variable, call these zombies_points. And this will be an array of where we can spawn all the zombies. So go ahead, make it a type array. And go ahead, inside of it, it's going to be a collection of nodes. So just node. And we'll always equaling it, starting off to an empty array as, again, array of nodes. There we go. All right. Then next set of variables, let's go ahead. We're going to call this added_right_points. And this will equal false. We're going to have another one for added_left_points, which is also going to be false. And then another variable, added_top_points. Again, equaling it to false. And our last one will be variable, and we'll call it last_updated_areas. This will basically be when we want to update the areas. of course adding in new locations once we unlock them. But for now, we'll equal an empty array. Then we'll create a couple add-on-readies. Our first one will be add-on-ready variable. We'll call this our just basic underscore, or basic capital Z zombie. We'll equal that to our current preload of our zombie that we created earlier. Just make sure it's the zombie.tscn. And then our final preset variable will be another add-on ready variable, spawn timer. And we'll simply go ahead, make this a type timer, and equal this to our current spawn timer inside our node right here. And there we go. So these are all of our starting variables. Make sure you have those in there. Remember, you can always check the source code. Let's carry on to our next couple functions. So let's go ahead, start off with our first one, which is going to be our ready function. As we know, this is everything that happens on start. So let's add that in, make some room. All right, first thing we're going to do is we're simply going to say if our current wave equals 0, so it just started, then we'll simply set our current wave, equaling it to 1, because no zombies should start until we're on wave 1. And then we're also going to go ahead, set the global one, so global.deadzombs, and just simply reset that to 0. And outside of the if statement, we're going to set our zombies in current wave back to 0. And then we're going to run a function called update underscore current underscore zom underscore points. And the reason we need this is just to make sure that we have the exact points spawning the zombies. Eventually, we're going to run this every time we have a new wave because we need to reassure that, of course, we're spawning them in the correct unlocked locations. All right, that'll stay red until we make it. But our next function is going to be our process function, which we know is everything that updates over time when the game's playing. Now, first thing we'll do is simple if. We'll say last updated areas does not equal global.unlocked areas. So if that array is any different, then we want to do the same thing. We want to update our current zom points. So just simply paste that in there. Again, it's going to stay red until we get it done, but for now, it'll be all right. We'll do another if statement after that one called if global.gameOn and current wave state equals wave state dot capital S start. If that's the case, then we're going to run another function called start underscore wave underscore sequence. Okay. That'll of course initiate any new wave that we're on. We don't have that created yet, so it'll stay red. But for now, that's all right. Then we're going to have one more thing in this process function, and we're going to run a simple match. All right. The match is going to be for current wave state. Oops, make sure we got that there. There we go, just a colon. If it wants it. Oh, I'm hitting the wrong button. There we go. Make sure you have the colon. And then just like an if statement, we're simply going to do our wave state dot cleanup. Wave state dot cleanup. Make sure it matches up with what we have here. Clean up, and then go ahead, another colon. We're just going to be doing another if, and we're going to say not global dot game on. And within this one, if that's the case, we'll do a simple return. Then we'll go ahead and say if global dot deadzombs is greater than or equal to zombies in current wave. Then we're simply going to go ahead and get our global dot deadzombs, re-equal it to 0, and then again start the wave sequence. Okay, and that's going to be everything in our process function. This will just reassure we're having the exact waves currently set, and of course updating any of the current zom points if we ever change and unlock new areas, which we're doing in the door script. All right, make sure you got this. Save what you got. Let's continue on. Our next function will be our start wave sequence. So let's go ahead, take one of those, go ahead, backspace, new function, and let's simply go ahead and get started with it. Now, the first thing we need to do before starting a wave sequence is make sure the game's on. So we'll say if not global dot game on, and if we leave it as is, it just means if it doesn't equal true, then we're going to return, meaning, of course, not start any of the wave sequence. But if that's not the case, it'll continue and run the next line, which is wave underscore number. It's a new variable. We're simply just going to equal to our current wave. We're then going to go ahead, get our zombies to spawn, and equal that to our base zombies plus parentheses of our wave increment. And then we'll again times that by another set of parentheses. And within there, we're just going to do our wave number minus 1. Basically reassuring that we're always adding those extra zombies in each wave, depending on which increment we're at. All right. Then after that, we're going to go ahead, get our zombies in current wave, and simply equal that to our zombies to spawn. Nice. All right, then we're going to go ahead, update the spawn rate. So we're going to do a new variable, call this new underscore spawn underscore rate. We're going to equal that to our base spawn rate minus parentheses set wave increment. And we're simply going to go ahead, times that by the entire parenthesis value of, again, our wave number minus 1. Then we're simply going to set our new spawn rate equal to max parenthesis set 0.5 comma new spawn rate. Then we're going to carry on and set some global variables specifically for our global wave. We're just going to equal that to our current wave we have. We're also going to get another global variable, global.zom health, because we always want to increase the zombie health as well every wave. So we'll simply do a plus equals 1. Then we're going to have another if statement below, still in the same function. We're going to say if is underscore instance valid. Within instance valid, we're going to get our spawn timer. And we're going to go ahead, get our spawn timer dot wait time, and just simply equal that to our new spawn rate that we calculated above. Then we'll also say if our global dot, again, game on equals true, then we're going to go ahead and spawn timer dot start. All right, 2 more things to set outside of the if statement below. We have to set our current wave state. We're just going to equal that to our wave state dot spawning wave. And then below that, simply set our current wave plus equals 1. And there we go. That'll ensure we're starting a new wave sequence. Okay, nice. All right, next up, we just need our timer signal. So go ahead, select timer spawn that we have inside our spawner node. Go to the node, make sure you're selecting it. I need to select out, select back in. And there we go. Go to signals, select timeout, and just connect it to our current script we have in here, spawner node. I'm going to get rid of these extra spaces here. Let's add in some more below so we can see it better. All right. So first thing we're going to do in here, just like we've always done, is a simple if statement. Say if not global dot game on equals true, which you can leave as blank and it'll do that. We want to return because we don't want to do anything if the game is not on. We also want to go ahead and say if current wave state does not equal wave state dot spawning wave. Then we want to go ahead, spawn timer dot stop, so we can turn it off, and then do a return. But if that isn't the case, we'll do another if for our zombies to spawn, greater than 0. And then below that, simply do our spawn zombie, which we'll create in a bit, spawn zombie. Give it an empty set parentheses. And then, of course, get our zombies to spawn, minus equals 1. And then we'll say if zombies to spawn is less than or equal to 0. Then we're going to go ahead and stop our spawner timer. So spawner timer dot stop. Below that, get our current wave state equals wave cleanup, or wave state wave cleanup, which will clean up the values. And then, of course, if this whole thing is not the case, so basically we still have less than, we'll say else. And then we'll go ahead, get our spawn timer dot stop. And then below that, our current wave state equals, again, our wave state dot cleanup. Make sure that's stop here, not start. There we go. Nice. All right, looks good there. And eventually we'll create this, but so far we're looking good. Let's save what we got. Let's wrap this script up with 2 more functions. We only have left the spawn zombie one, and then also the update current zom points. So let's go ahead, do the zombie spawn one. This one's the easiest. Let's go ahead, do a simple function, paste the name, and let's go ahead, start off with a new variable. We'll call this random underscore spot, and we're going to get that from our zombie points dot pick random, which just picks a random value in it. And we need to make sure this is a node 2D though. So as a node 2D. So that'll pick us our random spot. Then we need to create our new zombie. So new underscore zombie equals basic zombie dot instantiate. We're then going to go ahead, set our new zombie dot global position equal to our random point or random spot dot global position. After that, we're going to get tree dot current scene dot add child, and then pass in the new zombie. And there we go. That'll create our new zombie. Now, of course, we need our final function. That'll be the one that updates the zombie points. And we're going to be running that over and over again, depending on if it ever changes. So let's take the name. Let's go ahead, new function, paste it. And then we're going to start off with a for loop, because we're basically going to just loop through and add in any new ones if need be. So for area in global dot unlocked areas, because we know that's an array of all the unlocked areas we have. And what we're going to do is just have an if for each area. So if our area equals double quotes lowercase right and added right points equal false, then we're going to go ahead and say added right points now equal true, because we only want to do it one time. And then we're going to say if is instance valid. Make sure it's instance valid. And we're going to look for specifically in zombie points. This is for right. We're going to look for that first one, which is going to be 0.8. So I'm going to take that guy right there. We're going to do that. And then we'll do a simple colon. And again, same point. Drag and drop it in. And then do a dot add to group. And we're going to simply add to group, double quotes, zom point. Okay, perfect. Make sure you have that in there. And we got to do this for each one. So let's go ahead and just copy the whole thing all the way to the beginning of the if. And I'm going to go ahead, paste it. So now we need to do the other one, which is going to be 9. So just replace the 8 to the 9s for each one. And then same thing, let's go ahead, paste it. Replace the same thing. This one will be 10s. So 10 and 10. Nice. All right, and that's going to be everything for the right side. Let's do the left side. So let's take the entire if statement in the for loop. Go ahead, add a tab, paste it in. This time, just change what we need. So instead of if area right, we're going to say if area left. And then, of course, the bool, change that. Added left area, or added left points. Same thing, make it true now here. And then all we got to do is, of course, change it out for what we need. So let's go ahead, open up the left ones. I'm just going to replace one here and just drag and drop in the first one. Same thing for this one. Drag and drop it in. And then I'm just going to copy that whole line there, get rid of the 2 we got here, and just paste it in for each. And then just change it out to 6 and 7. Okay, so we have the 5 one, and then we have the 6 one here. And then we'll have the 7 one below. There we go. All right, one more left. That's going to be for the top. This one's going to have 4 in it. So let's go ahead, copy that whole if statement. Backspace once, paste it in. Change the area now. We're looking for top, all lowercase. Same thing here, added top points. And then same thing, paste it here. And then let's do what we did before, locate the top. This will be point 11, so go ahead. Let's remove the first one. Drag and drop it in. Same thing here. Remove it. Drag and drop it here. Nice. Let's copy that line. And just remove the ones there. Paste it in 3 times below. So we have 11. Now we just need 12. And then we'll do 13 below that. And then the final one, which is going to be 14. Looks good there. Nice. All right. And then at the very end, outside of the entire for loop, so outside of the for loop, but still in the function, we're going to simply set our zombie points equal to get underscore tree dot get underscore, we'll just do get, actually, yeah, get nodes in group. And again, we're looking for that specific group of zom points. Was it zom point or zom points? Let's double check. Yep, zom point, no S. And then we're going to say as array. And then we're looking for just capital N node. Okay, nice. Last thing, go ahead. Last updated areas now equal the global dot unlocked areas dot duplicate. And there we are. Perfect. I know that was a lot, but there's a lot of things going on in this. So go ahead, check the source code if you need to. No worries there. But once you got it, save what you got, head back out to 2D view, and get ready to test. All right, let's test things out to make sure we're working. Now, one thing to test, just to kind of make this a little easier, is let's go back into that script, scroll to the top, and change the constant for base zombies to something way smaller, like 5, so we don't have to wait around too long. Let's save that. Back to 2D view. Start current scene. And let's make sure that we can attack multiple zombies. All right, so we have some spawning up here. After 5, we should be able to move to wave 2. Currently it says wave 1. So let's go ahead. Yep, we're at wave 2. And it looks like no zombies are spawning, so there's probably an issue in the script. One other thing I want to test is make sure it actually resets. So if I hit quit, play, let's make sure they spawn again in wave 1. Yes, they do. But it looks like we're having an issue with our gun. We're not shooting again. Everything else looks to be working fine though. So there we go. We got 2 issues to fix. the spawning of the zombies, and then the quit, game over, restart with the shooting. So let's go ahead, and before we get into the spawning, I think I know why the gun's not shooting after quit. If we go into our script, if we go to global, and we go to our reset values, you're going to see this store opened equals null. But if you remember, we changed that. We changed it to equals empty quotes instead of null for now on. So with that, that should fix that issue. As for the spawning of the zombies issue after wave 1, if we go into our spawner node, and I think it's going to be somewhere down under here, start wave sequence. I think the issue revolves around the actual sequence of it, which should be in one of these lines here. Let's see, new spawn rate equals base spawn rate minus wave increment. Now, this is not correct. We don't want to do minus the wave increment of it. We actually want to do the spawn rate decrement, all right? So there you go, type that in there, and that should fix that. There might also be another issue in the actual timer of it as well. So if we scroll down a bit in our timer, let's just double check some things. Global on, current wave, current wave. Okay, current wave is not correct because we're actually checking the states here. We're not checking the wave. So what we gotta do is simply go ahead, change this to current wave state, all right? Because now again, we're checking that state, making sure it doesn't equal the spawning wave, and then stopping the timer. So let's save that real quick. With those two changes, we should have everything working correctly. Let's go ahead, let that load, hit play. So let's make sure zombies are spawning in, and then we can get to wave 2. It should also make the zombies harder in wave 2 as well. Let's go ahead, wrap that up there. Yep, wave 2, and they're harder, nice. Let's make sure they can spawn in the other areas as well once we unlock another door. Let's make sure one can spawn over here. Yep, there we go, looks like another one spawned. And there we go, looks nice. Now let's also make sure we can still shoot after hitting quit. Yes, we can. Looks like that fixed it. And the wave start as well. Awesome. All right. One other thing you could change though is you could turn off the little debugging for their navigation simply by going to the zombie node. So go into there, select zombie under components, and then go ahead, select the navigation agent 2D, inspector, and see where we have the debug. Just go ahead and turn that off for now. Save that change, go back to main, and then double check that it's turned off. Let's see. Wait for a zombie to appear. Yep, looks like there's no navigation for them. They're spawning in, but now it's not telling us where they're going to go. I like it. All right, let's close out of there. Let's close up our stuff. Save what we got, and we're looking good. In this section, we're going to do some bug fixes. We're going to start off and test the game and identify any bugs. If we find any bugs, we're going to then apply the fixes and retest the game. If you find any bugs that are not mentioned, please don't hesitate and let me know. Now let's go ahead and jump right in. All right, so after I played the game myself, I didn't locate any prominent bugs. Really, the only bugs that we need to make sure we address are resetting the values that we changed for testing. So if we go into our script and go to our global variables, you remember we reset the money so we could test things out. If I was you, I would lower this just a bit, maybe to something like 800 or even 500, depending on what you want it to be at. Same thing for the spawner node. We reset the spawning zombies to 5 zombies. I think that's a little low, so I would set that to simply something like 20. And apart from those two changes, I didn't find any other functional bugs. The only other minor changes I would suggest changing is just realigning some of the UI objects. I think they're positioned a little strangely, so maybe moving the left ones up a bit, and so with the right. And if you wanted to maybe bold the text on the bottom right, I think that would look a lot nicer, but overall I think the game works pretty well. Again, if you find any other bugs though that weren't mentioned, please let me know and I'll apply it